All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. My name's Matthew, and I'm joined today by Frank Karlitschek, who is the founder and
That's perfect.
CEO of Nextcloud. How are you doing today, Frank?
I'm really good. I'm really good. I'm in warm, beautiful Berlin at the moment. It's a nice evening here. So yeah, everything is great. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to share some of your wisdom with us. So, Frank, before we get started, what I'm going to do, can you explain a little bit about Nextcloud to us? Can you tell us a bit about the company?
Nextcloud is a content collaboration platform. It's actually very similar to Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace or Slack or Zoom or Box.com, with the main difference that we are not SaaS, so it's not software as a service. Nextcloud is actually an open source software company. So we built this product together with our open source community, and we give it to anybody who wants it, like for free, and they can install it wherever they want, and then have their own little private, secure platform for chatting, video conferencing, sharing files, calendar, mail, everything, so that you don't need to give the data to like some big cloud companies if you don't want to.
That's pretty cool. And you said for free.
Yeah, indeed. It's open source. Yeah. It's 100% open source. So you can just go to our website, download it for free and install it wherever you want. Of course, you probably then going to ask, okay, great, but how do we make any money? Right? How do you pay for everything? Good
Absolutely.
question. What we're selling is that it's called an enterprise subscription. Yeah. It's an enterprise subscription, which is basically includes everything that is needed if you really want to run it like in a big professional way. It comes with support, it comes with special packaging, with long-term support. There's a knowledge base, there's certification, special Docker containers, and lots of things that you really need to have if you really run it in a professional way. So if you just run it for your family, of your soccer club, or I don't know, the small organization, just take the zip file from our website and it's cool. But if you really want to have like 100,000, maybe millions of users, then you probably should get a contract with us, and we help you to do this in a good way. The business model is very similar to Red Hat or SUSE or Canonical or MySQL, MariaDB, lots of other open source companies.
Yes. All right, so that's quite interesting. We'll come back into that in a second. And you've been at Nextcloud now for 7 years and 4 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm?
Yes. And tell me
Correct.
how it came about. Okay, so we're going to work
Yeah.
backwards a little bit, but tell me how this idea came about. What happened? Was it a light bulb moment? Was it something that developed over time? Tell us how it came into being.
That's an interesting, but also a bit of a long story, I have to say. So it all started, I would say, in 2008, 2009. This was the time when this cloud services, these SaaS services really popped up. So Dropbox, for example, became popular. But for me, it was or Gmail and these other classic SaaS products. But for me, I always thought this is like cool products, but I don't really want to live in a world where like five big companies control all the data and all communication of everybody on the planet. I don't really think this is useful or helpful or sane. So for me, it was always clear that there should be an alternative, some self-hosted, some open source alternative. And yeah, I was thinking about it for a few months, and then end of 2009, beginning of 2010, I started to develop it, and I launched the first 1.0 version at a time, and it was still under a different name, but it became really popular very quickly. But then the journey really got interesting because I thought, okay, there's opportunity to found a real company around it, because at the time it was just a hobby project of mine. And then I basically founded a company. It was based in the US. Together with two co-founders, together with some venture capital, US-based venture capital companies. And at the time I thought this is cool, but what I really did, I did some mistakes there.
Mm.
So I picked the wrong co-founders. I picked the setup with the investors was not really good. So this was the effect that, yeah, the product or the company really grew fast and really go as fast down than in 2016, because it was just not working correctly. And yeah, in 2016, I then decided together with 12 other core people, hey, the product is good. Customers like it. Community is good. Idea is good. Every team is great. Let's do a reboot. We really should start over and do it better. And yeah, in 2016, like this core group, including me, we founded Nextcloud as a successor, basically. And now we have a bit of a different setup. We don't have any investors, actually. We're completely self-funded. And we did some other changes. For example, there's 100% open source now and some other things. And I'm really happy to say that it's now working great. So now we are pretty profitable. We're growing nicely every year organically. We have happy customers, a happy team. Yeah, this brought us where we are now. So after some road bumps, some ups and downs, I'm actually happy that where we ended up today. But it was a journey.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. It's inspirational. You admitted that in the beginning you had some problems with the co-founders, the investors. There were a couple things going on. Now, for us, when we go through something like this and we end up realizing that we've made a mistake or that we've done something wrong, it can be quite a challenging situation to overcome. How did you deal with that? How do you realize your mistake and say, right, there I am, put my hands up and change the ball game?
That's a really good question because if something is not working, there are lots of reasons why something is not working. Right? It could be that, I don't know, the whole product idea is bad, or it could be yourself. Maybe it's me who is just not the right person for doing that, or the code, or marketing, or sales, or lots of things, right? And then you're just not sure where the problem is, and need to be experiment. You need to question yourself and question everything, and talk with a lot of people, different opinions. But yeah, after some point, I really came to the conclusion then, well, some things are good, like the product and the ideas and the team and other things. But yeah, it was, for example, just our sales organization we had at the time in the US, which was just wrong. A lot of management was just wrong. And yeah, then we changed things and we realized, okay, now it's working. But to be honest, this is something that it's not a unique thing, right? That I don't think if a founder always says like, well, I have this light bulb moment, I have this idea and this is awesome. And since then you're only executing, I don't believe it. Because for me, it's always a constant process of analyzing things and improving things. Right? You're always like, okay, also when you grow, right? Nextcloud, we are like 90 people now. Things work differently than when you're 20 people or 50 people or 10 people. So for me, it's always a constant journey of analyzing how things are going, thinking what could be improved, and then improving things and so on. So it's a constant learning and improvement process.
You were talking about constantly analyzing, monitoring, being able to make adjustments. We say keeping our finger on the ball. How do you do that? How do you keep your finger on the pulse? How do you keep your eye on the ball? What strategies do you employ to make sure that you don't fall behind and you are able to adjust with the changing times?
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of things that you need to monitor. It's like, I don't know, I think you should constantly talk with your customers, for example. That's always like super important. They give you lots of insights. You need to check how is marketing doing. I don't know, is PR, is the press writing about the things we are doing? Is this actually interesting? Are we doing something boring or useless here? Then of course the usual marketing KPIs, so how is social media, like webinars, newsletters, and so on. There's a lot to check and always to improve. engineering, of course. How is the product doing? Also compared to competitors. Is it like secure? Is it fast? Is it necessary features? Is it stable? And so on. And then, of course, very important, of course, sales. Sales is another special thing to check and to monitor. So how is the pipeline looking? How's the conversion rate? What's the churn rate? How the quota's doing? I mean, it's really complicated. I mean, I think you should always check like, I don't know, 100 different KPIs or factors. And if something is not doing as it should be, then you need to really deep dive into it to analyze what's going on and then to improve. And if you not really know how to improve, then you should like also experiment. I'm a big fan of experimenting, to be honest, because I don't really believe that you can just sit down and think, and after thinking for a month and you have the perfect solution. It's like it's a process. You need to involve and get better.
100%. I agree with you there. The process, I mean, it's half of the journey. And you were talking a bit about um, going through that, monitoring things, checking all the different KPIs and all those balances. How do you find balance though with your life and your work life? You said it's a crazy process. There's a lot going on. Do you manage to have a personal life, or is it just business at the moment?
I mean, I have a personal life, yes. I wouldn't say it's nicely balanced. Unfortunately not. That's definitely something that I need to get better with, because that's the problem if you really like what you're doing.
Hmm.
Right? I mean, it's not, I don't know. I love my job. I love what I'm doing. So yeah, then it's very easy to work too much. And then they say, oh, that's not a problem because your job is also your hobby. Yeah, well, yes and no. I think everybody needs something beside work. Um, yeah,
That's it.
I need to be better. I think that's a problem I have, same as lots of founders. Yeah.
It is a common situation, and it's a difficult thing, as you say. If you love what you do, it's very difficult to separate your life and your work. And sometimes it takes the people around us to say, "Hey, you're overdoing it again," and we have to take a step back. Um, Talking about the people around us, tell me a little bit about your team. Tell me about the people now. You've had some hiccups in the past. Things are going well now. You've got a good team around you. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah. So the team is the most important thing. It's, I don't know, someone said that like, hey, if you really need to do something great, if you want to do something great, then hire great people. And this is, of course, a super simplification. On the other hand, it's also true. If you really hire like really good people, and of course, obviously, you need to give them the freedom to do what they want to do, then you get good results. It's more complicated than that, but the team is like super important. Um, Especially if you grow, then you need to scale, right? And you should not. So the secret for scaling a company is, of course, to always identify bottlenecks and then remove them. And I see so many companies who have some bottleneck, and then they're wondering that they don't know why the revenue is not going up. If there's like something that is restricting everything. And in a lot of cases, the bottleneck is, of course, like the boss, right? Because if the boss tries to micromanage everything and need to decide everything and is doing this like 14 hours a day, well, then you cannot double the revenue because then you're at 28 hours, right? So this does not work. So you really need to scale, and this means you need to have like a great team that you can just delegate and that you can trust. I think it's important to have a team where you have full trust in all directions. I think we have an awesome team at Nextcloud, especially the management team. That's a team where we are brutally honest to each other. I think it's very important. And I was in a lot of, I don't know, US business meetings where there's a lot of like, yeah, great, awesome, and so on. And where everybody knows that it's not awesome. I don't know. I'm a German. I don't like that. I like to be very, very honest. And if something is not going well, then the management team needs to be able to talk about it, that something is not going well, and then brainstorm together and find a solution together. So that's the key for me.
Good. Okay, so you've got a good team around you. You're managing to work together. You're talking about brainstorming and finding solutions. Was it hard to acquire the team? Are you still actively part of the process, or do you have people taking care of that for you now?
So now I just talked about scaling, and we should like delegate things. And now you found one of my problems because I'm actually super involved in hiring still. Uh, I mean, we have HR, we have a professional team, we have a professional organization for HR and the hiring process, but I'm still involved like very early in the hiring process of everybody still. That's something I cannot do at some point anymore, and I need to delegate that. But I don't know, delegating this part is like the most difficult for me because a company is the people, and you really want to have the right people with the right mindset and not only the skills. I mean, you can have some kind of hiring process where the skills are checked automatically somehow. But for me, it's also like just the mindset and just the type of person you want. So I'm still actively involved in that. Costs a lot of time. I think it's very, very, very important.
So it sounds to me like you are very personally involved with this. We know that you enjoy your job. We know that you spend a lot of time in it. You're still involved with the hiring process. But it sounds to me like it's a lot more than that. Like it's a connection that you have. Are you emotionally invested in the company?
Oh, 100%. Of course. I don't know. I cannot imagine that the company can be successful, especially when the company is still young, if the core team, the founders are not emotionally invested. I don't know. Because if you just, because at the beginning, it is a shitty job, right? You work a lot. You only have problems. You have a shitty salary,
Yeah.
right? So it's a really shitty job, especially at the beginning. And I mean, you only do this because you like it and you're emotionally invested. That's the only reason to do it, because otherwise, I don't know, you would do something else. Yeah.
Of course. Did you know though? Did you know when you were studying, when you were in university, when you were in school, did you know one day I want to run my own company, I want to develop something for the future? Was that always a dream of yours?
Actually not. Actually not. So, I studied computer science and I'm a developer by heart. So I developed software since I was, I don't know, 10 years old or something. I did all kinds of things over the years. And then worked like in software companies for many years, where I was then, I don't know, managing engineering teams, unit manager, all kinds of middle management jobs, basically. For me, I never really wanted to be CEO or something. What I wanted is to have a cool product and great software, great product. So I'm really a product person. I'm not really a classic, I don't know, MBA business person. I really, really want to have a great product. And the reason why I'm running this company now is probably because I can build a great product here. This is, you can do the right strategic decisions as CEO. Obviously, then, I mean, I don't really do development anymore. Obviously, I do lots of sales and marketing and administration and other things. But for me, the real motivation was that I really want to have an awesome product. And that's the reason why Nextcloud, the company, exists, to build this product. And that's the reason why I have this job, to build this product. So that's really the main motivation. And yeah, that is successful, and we make some money now and growing and everything. But for me, this was only the side effect, to be honest.
Hmm.
It was, I mean, there's some founders who probably have a different motivation. Some founders might be, I want to be rich, and the only way to get there is to found a company. But for me, it was never like that. I just I like to do the great product.
I like that. That's very cool. Spoken from the heart. Thank you. Um, so a few more, and then I'm going to let you go. Tell me about the future. What are your hopes for the future? What are you looking into?
Yeah, I mean, we are like, as I said, around 90 people now. We have this weird goal that we want to compete with big tech companies. I always say that you need to be a little bit stupid and a little bit naive to even try that, because we are really tiny, compared to competitors. But yeah, so far it's working. We managed to win some nice customers who then use Nextcloud instead of Google or Microsoft or others. So it is a little bit working. And yeah, my goals are to keep on trying that and to see how much more we can do there. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, it's like to decentralize the internet again. I don't want to live in a world where like five big tech companies have all chat messages, all mails, all documents in the world. I really think the world is a better place if there's more local IT, more security, more safety, more open source. And that's what we want to build here. And so far it's working quite well. And let's see how far we can push this idea.
100% good. And we wish you luck as well. I wish you luck. I think that's a great thing that you're talking about there, that sort of decentralization and giving people back a bit of their own power. And I think that's a great thing that you're working on. Um, Tell me something. If we had to, and I'll ask everybody this, if we had to write an inspirational quote on your bedroom wall, so you wake up every morning and you see the words, what does it say?
What's very important for me, and I always tell like students when I teach sometimes, I tell this students is that we all have to realize that we can shape the future. So we all have the power, especially software developers, can really shape the future. There are some things we cannot change, right? If we don't like trees, we cannot change trees. If we don't like grass or the air or something, right? This is nature. This is law of nature. This cannot be changed, but IT can be changed. If you don't like the way social networks work, or if you don't like cloud services, if you don't like how whatever meetings, web meetings work, if you don't like how chat works, we can change that. Because that's done by humans, not by nature.
Mm.
So yeah, I just want to encourage everybody, especially software developers, to just develop software that changes the world to make it a better place.
I like that. I really, really like that. Is there anything you'd like to add? Is there anything perhaps that I've missed that you'd like to share with us before I let you go?
Yeah, I wanted to say that Nextcloud, we didn't really talk about that part, but Nextcloud is an open source community. So it's not only done by us as a company, we actually have like thousands of volunteers all over the world. And if you're interested in what Nextcloud is doing, I want to encourage everybody to look at our GitHub repository and if you want to contribute something, I don't know, you don't really need to write a new feature immediately. You can also just report a bug or something or give some feedback and become part of the community and to contribute. It's very easy and everybody's welcome.
Fantastic. Ah, that's brilliant. I hope that people take you up on the offer, and I'd like to thank you again very much for your time, for sharing your journey with us, and it was quite
Of
refreshing
course.
speaking from the heart and sharing some intimate details there. Frank, thank you very, very much.
Thanks a lot for your time.